Hi guys dan selamat kembali ke Studio Sembang bersama saya Amy. In the studio this week we have Haris Baba. Hi.
Hi guys. Hi Amelia. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, thank you so much meluangkan masa bersama kami.
Sorry?
Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you
From the other side of the causeway.
Yeah.
How long have you been in town for?
I'm here for the next few days, then back to Sabah and then KL again.
My gosh, your schedule is like
It's been Singapore, between Singapore, KL and Sabah the last 2 months. Yeah. Like almost every week.
intense.
Yeah.
And there's a reason behind it. Tapi
Yeah.
kalau korang nak tahu, we have to start at the beginning, which is in your childhood. So it's an open-ended question. Jawab macam mana you rasa selesa. How was your childhood?
My childhood. So basically, I'm born in Singapore, but I stayed in Pakistan, Karachi for 2 years, and then I moved to I stayed in Bangkok for the next I think 4 years, and then I came back to Singapore for my primary school education.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why was your family traveling around so much?
So my dad used to do business in Bangkok
I
with his
see.
brothers.
I see.
So I grew up there, and even I had a cousin growing up there with me as well. And then we all moved back to Singapore together.
I see. Quite a unique childhood.
Yeah, I mean, I love Bangkok. Sorry, I love Bangkok. I mean, Bangkok is like my second home.
Yeah, fair. Can you speak any Thai?
I can't. I studied in the English school there, so.
Oh, okay.
Can't speak
Understand. Did you ever what were your musical references growing up? Because I'm trying to piece together macam mana Haris boleh kemudian terjebak dalam industri music pula.
So basically, growing up, I listened to a lot of Hindi songs lah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love Hindi songs. I love singing Hindi songs. I love listening to Hindi songs. So growing up everything was actually about Hindi songs. And then later in primary school is when I started listening to a lot of English songs lah. Yeah.
I see.
So every time during Raya or any family events or functions, then would always be singing Hindi songs. So my uncle is the one that made me sing Hindi songs in front of people. He used to force me to sing Hindi songs in front of people.
Oh, you were the
And then-
performing.
and then I eventually fell in love with it lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were your ambitions growing up? Cita-cita, if you will.
Ambitions.
Was singing a part of it?
No, actually, I never really had a particular ambition growing up. I was just following this game of life, going to school, going back home after school. Nothing really popped in my mind. Yeah, so it just came along the way.
No performing arts club in school?
No, I never joined drama class or went for any singing classes or that music drama thing. I never went for it. It was always at home or at my grandmother's place.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Because this is not how it normally goes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, normally you would start from young and then you would know that you want to do this and that, right? Yeah.
But you seem to be more of a going with the flow kind of person.
Yeah, I've always been like that.
Oh, which is an interesting way of living your life. Probably leads to a lot of fulfillment.
Yeah, but I guess in secondary school, after that is when I wanted to do it more seriously lah.
I see.
Yeah.
During secondary school?
Mid-secondary school, yeah.
Okay. After secondary school, if I'm not mistaken, you actually ended up doing it. You entered the final one.
Yeah, correct. That was 11 years ago, back in 2013.
That's crazy. Do you still count that as the beginning of your career?
Yeah, definitely lah. Definitely. That was the one. Through that competition, then I started getting a lot of offers and opportunities, gaining experience, learning. Yeah, through that competition lah. So that really allowed me to have a mini career in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't that many actually. Ended up becoming quite major for a couple of years.
Okay lah.
Okay, tapi sebelum kita cakap pasal what happens next, right? And for the final one, I think entering any type of competition, especially one that is televised, is probably difficult, right?
Oh my god, yeah. It was a nightmare for me, I was so scared, so nervous all the time. I guess it was a new experience for me, like joining the competition and then meeting people and then singing in front of judges and seeing other people sing and not having that experience of singing in front of a camera, in front of judges. It was scary. But yeah, I mean, after that is when I started getting a lot of shows and slowly started learning and getting used to it more. Yeah.
At that point, was that your dream then? Was it okay, I want to come into this competition? Hopefully, I dapat menang lah. And then eventually it will lead to...
Yeah, so I guess 2013 onwards, is when I told myself I want to actually try to do this, not say full-time. I never saw myself doing it full-time. I always knew that I would have to end up doing something else as well. But yeah, I guess I had the mindset of wanting to really explore singing, acting, and I guess I was lucky to end up in KL to actually have a bigger career, because Singapore's market is so small,
yeah,
right?
in a bigger market.
Yeah, correct.
But okay, this is the thing that is very interesting, especially now that I like get to talk to you and like get a gauge on your personality again, is that so Singapore is obviously undoubtedly a smaller market only by virtue of it being a smaller country.
Correct.
Singapore is a fantastic market for entertainment as well. We've got some very talented people there. But like if we talk about language for a second, right? Singapore is obviously predominantly English speaking.
Yeah.
And so therefore a lot of the programs that do exist in Singapore would be conducted in English, which would be quite comfortable for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny thing is, like, after the final one, I did get a few small roles, like, on Channel 5. But I always wanted to... I think after the final one is when I really wanted to be, like, a proper actor in Channel 5. But I guess, like, it was so difficult for me to penetrate into the industry. And I don't know, for some reason, you know, Singapore, like, mostly Chinese, right? A lot of Chinese in Singapore. So I guess they would always, like, favour Chinese people. Yeah, so I did get a few roles here and there, but it was difficult to make it big in the English entertainment industry in Singapore lah. Yeah, it was quite challenging, but I think after like doing a few roles and stuff, that was when I started getting the calls to KL. So I told myself, okay, let's just move to KL lah. Just move to Malaysia. Then another challenge came along, which is the Malay language.
True.
Which is my like biggest difficulty, biggest challenge like up till now. Yeah, so I guess everyone must be wondering why is this all in English, but I'll try to talk Malay after this lah.
Boleh. Okay, so interesting. I see how it goes. I think it's kind of like a little bit, how to say, unfortunate, I guess, for you, because it's not really about talent. It's about something that's completely out of your control, which is the fact that, you know, acting is a very aesthetic-based job, and you have to look like you fit. For example, kalau diorang nak matchkan you with like a family, it all has to look very cohesive, and therefore if you look different from the norm that exists in the story, then it becomes harder to cast you and so on and so forth.
True.
So how did the call to Malaysia come? Like, what was the offer that kind of macam mengubah your career path?
So I guess it all came from Instagram, like, to be honest. Like, started receiving a lot of DMs from producers, directors, to go to Malaysia to cast, to work on music. So eventually I did. I got a DM from 𝙁𝙗𝙁 actually.
Oh,
yeah. So
sick.
he's the one who brought me into Malaysia, and I was with him for a while, worked on a bit of music, and then from there got my first role on a tele movie, and it just like kicked off from there lah. But of course, like I mentioned, it was super difficult because of the Malay language lah. Yeah.
How did your family feel about it at the time?
I think my mom, she like never really wanted me to like really go into the entertainment so much. My dad has always been supportive lah. But I guess after moving to KL and like, you know, getting more jobs and slowly building a name for myself, then my mom was like, she was really like okay with it lah.
Yeah,
Because my mom's mindset is always to like, you have to study, you have to get a good job and stuff. Yeah, because my mom's a teacher. So
wow. So it must
she's
not
a
have been
teacher,
easy
so
to convince her.
Yeah. But it paid off lah. I had my fair share of fun and success. While it lasted, it was fun.
Yeah. Okay, super interesting. So you get the call from 𝙁𝙗𝙁, the DM rather,
correct.
and then you just decide like, I'm going to pack it up and go.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like come to KL every weekend lah.
You were doing the back and forth thing.
Up and down. I would go to his house. So we were actually in a boy band together. He assembled a boy band. So I was one of the singers. And then,
No way, boy band.
It was called Carla back then. So we worked on a song, but the song never released lah. But through 𝙁𝙗 was how I got in touch with like Warner Music. And then you know, when things didn't work out with 𝙁𝙗, so I had to like find my own way. So yeah, then eventually I started reaching out to people and, you know, trying to make something for myself. And eventually I landed with Faizal with Faithful Music. So that's when I released my first single.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually it's all thanks to 𝙁𝙗 who actually tarik me to KL lah. Started from there lah. Yeah.
But before the single came out, you were actually like your telefilms, I think, came out first, and probably your drama as well. What kind of inspired the acting? Because you were like the singing thing, right? And then you came to Malaysia, and suddenly you're involved in acting as well.
I did want to do like modelling. I did want to act. I did want to sing. So I mean, like coming to Malaysia, right? Like I guess I did want to try everything lah. So then I got that tele movie with 𝘾𝙁𝙁𝙁, 𝙁𝙁𝙁 Viral. So I think that was my first acting job in KL. And
was it not Alien Planet Cinta?
That was after.
Oh really?
That was after.
Okay.
Yeah, after.
Okay, well, around the same time frame lah.
Yeah, so like Malay is so difficult for me. So I remember the director like really helping me and on set, and even before we started shooting, like really practicing with me and stuff. And I'm not able to like converse in Malay because my vocabulary in Malay is very small, so I'm like heavily dependent on the script. So I have to literally memorize every single thing, and then I cannot ad-lib, so I have to follow that. So it was very difficult, but I guess I'm thankful and grateful for the opportunities that came for me lah. I mean, like through every job, I learn and I try to improve and get better. Yeah.
You're still building the skill, right?
Still.
But acting is really difficult to do if
I've
you don't
always
understand.
wanted to act in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, like always. I after the competition, I really wanted to focus on acting in English, but it just never came for me lah. That's a funny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like moving to Malaysia and doing it in Malay, wow, I tell you, so stressful all the time. But okay lah, fun also.
But you know what the good news is? If you ever went back to acting in English, you'd find it significantly easier because you've already done it in a language that you don't understand. So I feel
I've
like
always wanted to explore like acting in English, but for some reason the roles never really came. I mean, a few small ones, but it was difficult to really get the bigger roles like in Singapore. Yeah.
Fair. And also Malaysia does not really have that many roles in English because we don't really have a substantial English-speaking market.
Yep.
You could always make a role for yourself. You should
Guess
make a
not,
show and then act in it, you know?
Who knows, like after the events or concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something you could think about,
Yeah.
generally. At least for digital distribution, why not? And then you can see how far it goes, right?
True.
So not just about the language, but did you find there to be any type of like cultural barrier as well when you came into Malaysia? Because you're obviously, you're not Malay. You have a different background than what's totally relatable. It'd be difficult to find somebody with the same mix as you just like walking on the street, right? And then also you're from a different country.
Correct.
Or did you find there to be some similarities in the sense that like Singapore and Malaysia not so distant after all?
Actually, I adapt very easily to new places. So when I first made the move to KL, I think I was just like homesick most of the time. You know, homesick. But then like coming so often, then I got very comfortable with KL. And I guess it wasn't really difficult for me as well. Like when you talk about food or anything else, it's quite, I think KL is very similar to Singapore lah.
Right? It is, you're right.
Yeah, so like city.
So similar, they could have almost been the same country at one point, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, like, it wasn't really so difficult to get used to being in KL lah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about Malaysia's entertainment industry, especially like compared to Singapore's?
So much. It's like, you know how I used to compare it? Like, I would call Singapore a fish, and then Malaysia the sea or the ocean, like
Really?
sea or ocean. Yeah. I think it's really
interesting.
that so much. It's comparing Malaysia and Singapore. That is how big Malaysia is compared to Singapore lah. That's how I've always pictured it lah. Yeah.
But do you feel like that's true of the industry as well?
Yeah. I mean, like, there's so many TV stations, so many radio stations. Like in Singapore, you only have Channel 5 for the English, right? And then there's Surya for the Malay, there's Vasantham for the Tamil.
Yeah.
And then there's Channel 8 and I think like Channel U. And then like in Malaysia, you have Astro, TV3, RTM, and so many other stations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like online platforms as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many radio stations as well.
So I suppose there's like more jobs, but also would
Yeah.
you not suggest that kind of like leads to more competition as well?
I guess I never really saw myself competing with. I've never had that like the mindset of wanting to compete. Yeah, so I would just follow the flow and just always be thankful and grateful for whatever that came for me. Like, I didn't want to compete with anyone who's bigger than me or what, you know. I never had that mindset lah. Yeah, even like in the line of work I'm in now, I don't see myself like competing with people. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So I was just very happy, like doing my acting, my singing, and if it went well, then I'm happy. If it didn't go well, then just wait for other jobs to come in and just try to do better.
Fair.
Yeah, but I didn't want to like compete. I didn't like. I know there are a lot of big actors and singers, but I mean, I like seeing them, but I never had the mindset of wanting to like reach their level or wanting to be like them. But of course, like deep down, I would want to grow and try to be a bigger, better actor or singer.
Yeah. But maybe it's more about like competing with your own benchmark.
Yeah.
Versus
Correct.
like other people's.
Instead of wanting to be like someone.
Yeah. Which is a very refreshing take, especially for somebody who's working in the entertainment industry, at least at this point in your career, right? Because it's a notorious industry for having to like cave into pressure and like what people think of you and things like that. So to have that much individuality is kind of not something you see very often.
True.
Yeah. At least to a certain point, right?
Yep.
Did you fall in love with the acting?
See, yeah, like every time I did acting in KL, right, it has always been difficult for me because of the language. But there were times that I got jobs where I actually enjoyed. There were times that I got jobs where I really struggled.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to your question again.
Did you fall in love with the acting of it?
Yeah, eventually I did lah. But you know, like I just always had this struggle and this stress with every job. But I guess it was the people, the cast, the team that would always make me feel like happy and better about getting that job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that like maybe, I guess like your decision to maybe step back from the industry that came later down the line would have been different if you were acting in a language that was comfortable to you?
Yeah, definitely. But you know, since COVID, right, is when I actually took a break. But that was when I started getting like more jobs for me to actually try to make a comeback. But I just couldn't take those jobs. But when I got those jobs, those roles, I was telling myself that actually this role I can really pull it off lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because of COVID, I was not able to fly for any jobs lah. Yeah,
Which sucks.
Like wasted lah. You know, they just call it not rezeki lah. Bukan rezeki lah.
Bukan rezeki.
Yeah.
I guess so. But back to something that was your rezeki, music. So Katakan was your first single.
Yeah.
What was it like making that, especially with such an established team? Faithful Music is they're big players.
So like after that boy band thingy, right, I told myself like Faizal,
Is that where all of the I'm not supposed to bring this up. Is that where all the comparisons to another notable boy band?
Oh no, actually, no,
individual?
actually,
No.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, actually.
It's a very YTJT thing, eh? Yeah.
So yeah, after leaving that band, when I got out of that band, I told myself I really want to work with Faizal and with Faithful. And at that point of time, I think I was approached by another guy in another company, but I think I was almost about to sign with that company. I told myself, okay, wait first, I want to reach out to Faizal. So I actually DM'd him myself.
Really?
Yeah, I DM'd Faizal myself on Instagram, and then like he didn't reply me for like 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And then I told myself, okay, I think I'm going to sign with that first company lah. Then he replied my DM. And yeah, he called me to his studio. Then I met him in person, him and his team, Mike, Ezra. We spoke. Then I told him like I really want to be able to work with Faithful lah. I think he was so like kind and open towards me, and he actually signed me. And then that's how I got that first song, Katakan lah. Yeah.
Was music something that you were significantly more passionate about than acting? Seeing is it something that you already had taken initiative towards in Singapore?
Yeah, I mean, I don't favor singing more than acting, or I don't favor acting more than singing. I just really wanted to explore myself. Like, whatever I could do, I just wanted to do it lah.
Yeah.
So like, if I was doing my singing, then I couldn't do much acting, you know, because like, I guess like that recording period and stuff, like 2 months in and out, and then if you're doing shooting, it affects everything lah. So yeah, I just wanted to do one thing first, and then if it was going okay, then try to focus on the acting. If it's not the acting, then it's back to the singing.
I see.
Yeah.
Because that was another thing that I noticed is that like in terms of you putting out music, right? It was quite sporadic in a sense. Like it was like one song a year.
Yeah, but that's how it used to be in the industry. Like
Did
a
it?
new
I don't know,
singer,
I'm not
like a
familiar.
new singer would release a single that would be out for maybe like a year, because you would need the radios to pick up the song as well.
Right.
Then you would need to go for your shows and stuff for the song to actually really naik lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Katakan lasted for about a year and then started working on the second song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Katakan did really well though. You ended up
Yeah,
performing at Music.
I remember Katakan hitting number 1 on Era, on Hot, so that was really something big for me lah.
Of course.
Yeah.
As it should be.
And then Music came along the way, and it was also a very big platform for me. You know,
Yeah.
I was new to that kind of platform as well.
How did you find it performing live? Is that considered your first time performing live?
Not my
Final
first
one is
time.
not really first. Then
I mean, Final One was a competition, right? Yeah, but music is in front of the judges, in front
Yeah.
of TV, in front of a live audience. So it was definitely scary, fun, and I think I tried my best as well during music. Yeah.
Yeah. But it must have definitely felt like very validating of your efforts.
What do you mean by that? Like,
I mean, like you're pursuing this career. You've gotten really a lot of traction with your first song, which is not something everyone can relate to. It's not an easy thing to achieve. Now you're on music. You must have felt very good and positive about your career. No?
I did lah. But I guess like having gone through all that, right, I was always like, I think things move so fast for me that I was not really able to focus on one thing as a lot of things were going on at the same time. So I just like kind of like I was like following the flow with everything that was happening.
What was going on at the same time? You mean the acting?
No lah. I mean just I think I wasn't acting back during that period, but like rehearsals and stuff, and like having to go back and forth like to sing back to Singapore to KL, and like not really being able to focus on one particular thing.
Right. Interesting.
I don't know if I'm answering your question right.
No, I feel like you. I feel like you are. I think it's
like
just
I wasn't able. How I'm trying to say it is like I wasn't really able to focus on one thing like purely.
I see. I think it's a difficult thing for somebody like me to understand, because obviously I'm a local here, so there are a whole bunch of responsibilities that you would have had to have that I've never experienced, like having to travel back to see my family or anything, would have taken time out of your schedule in a way that I can't relate to, because my family is like next door or down the road.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like an additional thing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever at any point during this time think that like maybe it would be easier, especially if music is something that you were super interested in, to just do it in Singapore?
Yeah, I mean Singapore's market is so small. Like,
but even for Malay music?
Yeah, even for music, I think it's even smaller than acting. Like
really?
I don't see. Yeah, I think the only like Singaporean who has released a lot of music in Singapore is 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙀𝙁.
Yeah, and he's amazing.
Yeah. So, if I were to release an English single in Singapore, then like how far can it really go as well? Like, and if you release a Malay song in Singapore, like how far can it really go as well?
Right? I would assume though, right? Like if you're trying to conquer both markets, which is a very intensely difficult thing to do, but I'm sure music can be produced from anywhere. So, you know, like hypothetically, you could have like recorded in Singapore, distributed in Malaysia and other.
But I think like the music being produced in Singapore is it's quite different from the music being produced in Malaysia as well. I think having listened to a few of the songs in Singapore, I think it's very different from Malaysian composition.
Really?
Yeah.
In like just composition wise.
In terms of the music, the genre.
Huh.
Yeah? Don't you think so?
I don't know. Like, I'm not really I don't make music.
I mean, listening to Taufik's Malay songs, and then you listen to like local Malay songs in Malaysia, it's quite different. What? The style of the song.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I suppose. Huh. I never thought of it that way, actually. Learning a lot from this conversation. Okay. So another question that I had for you, and I'm not sure if this is a sensitive one, but it's about the support from Singaporean radio stations, because you had made a comment prior.
Yeah.
Something about that. Yeah. So what was that about actually?
So 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎 was really picking up very fast, and then I realized like as a Singaporean, you know, like moving to KL, I thought the local Singapore radio station would pick up the song as well. But I think back then the song wasn't playing in Singapore, and I was just a bit like why is the song not being played in Singapore lah? You know, so. I mean, but it was just a small issue. I had a reporter come from Singapore to interview me about it, and then they started playing the song in Singapore. 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎, yeah.
Well, at least the interview that happened was kind of like the catalyst for it.
Yeah, you can say that lah.
Going over to the other side of the causeway.
Yeah.
Okay lah. I mean, as long as it ends well, right? You did Duo Star.
Yeah.
Your official second competition show.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. What made you decide that you wanted to like go back into like a competitive environment like that?
So Duo Star, came for me. I think Ning Baizura, she wanted me as a partner.
Oh,
so
nice.
that's how I got the opportunity lah. And then working with Ning was such an amazing experience as well. Working with a veteran like herself.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, like Duo Star again, like, you know, TV, and then in front of an audience, in front of camera again. So it was very challenging, but I had my fair share of fun as well and stressful moments as well. Yeah.
What were some of the most stressful, but also, next question, what are some of the most fun
I think the
moments?
most stressful is like, even though the show is just like one day, right? But the rehearsals, going in to practice with Kat Ning, like almost every day.
Yeah.
And then going to the venue every day. That was so near. I mean, it was so new for me and so tiring. It was just so tiring.
Yeah.
And then the fun part is, of course, being able to work with Kat Ning. And I think I had one episode where we won something. I can't really remember, but that was the highlight of that show for me lah, personally, that I was able to win one of the episodes with 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course, competing with all the other super talented singers.
Yeah.
Yeah, was fun and a very good experience for me lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I feel like singers, usually what ends up happening in Malaysia is that like, because we're a smaller environment, there tend to be a lot of like competition shows for like professional singers to take part in, which is always really interesting to see.
Yeah, correct.
That kind of side of the music business, right?
I agree.
Would you ever do a singing competition show again?
Now, I think I would. I think I'm more confident now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm more confident now with my vocals, with my showmanship. So if there's an opportunity, I probably would. But if I have the time as well, if I'm not busy with my events and whatever that I'm doing now, then yeah. But I can't say for sure. So yeah.
Interesting. It would be interesting to see you on like Masked Singer or something,
What's that? Masked Sing.
Oh my God, come on now.
Masked Sing?
Oh my God, come on now.
Wait, what's that?
This is your friend. Masked Singer, you don't know Masked Singer?
No.
Masked Singer, the one where the people wear the masks.
Oh, Masked Singer.
What else did I say? Masked Singer.
Masked Singer, okay, yeah, I remember it now. You see, I haven't been in touch with a lot of things. I know ever since COVID, like when I stepped out, right? I haven't really been watching I haven't been watching shows. I haven't been listening to new music as well. Yeah, so I think I've missed out on a lot of stuff lah.
Wait, clearly, but it's okay. So speaking of, right?
He knows more than me.
Yeah, he does. You're a very family-oriented person.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and you got married in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So working in the entertainment industry and stuff like that, there's a lot of like, these privacy concerns, and there is a general kind of like idea, and I'm not sure if this is like true or not, but a lot of people feel this, and like I personally have always been terrified of this, right? Is that if you prioritize your personal life too much and make it something that's public, it's going to like quote unquote jeopardize your career. Now, this is completely and totally not confirmed that this is like a fact or not, but this is something that a lot of entertainers tend to be scared of, right? Yeah. Especially at the peak of your career, when you have all of these successes happening, your songs are really taking off. What made you personally decide that you were ready to like start a family and get married?
So I knew my wife since like 2014, we were friends, and then her family found out about me. So her brother arranged our marriage lah. And then that's when I told myself like, okay lah, I think it's meant for me. So I went with the flow as well.
Okay.
And then he arranged the engagement date and the nikah date. So I followed the flow lah. And I think I just signed with Faithful. And I remember telling my brother-in-law like, can you give me a year? Let me work a bit. He said, no, you get engaged on this date, you get married on this date. So I followed the flow, and I think things like more jobs only started coming in for me like after marriage. Yeah, like I remember right after getting married was when I got my first like nice strong role with Aaron Aziz and Amira Rosli.
Oh, that's awesome.
Miss Rituan Ihsan, yeah.
Yeah.
So things picked up after that lah. After the job, yeah.
And
it
I
was
think
right
like
after marriage.
You are one of like the most solid, like I mean from what I see on social media, right? Solid dads, like family people that I've seen. And it's like it's very clear how much fulfillment your family brings you.
Yep.
Right? So I mean touch wood and God bless really.
Thank you.
Another question though is that like you being somebody who's private, now that you've kind of like gotten married and everything, and even as a dad, like how do you separate the boundaries of like what people are allowed to access about your life, and especially at the like peak of things when you're doing all of these dramas, you've got these songs coming out, how did you navigate that thing? Because like when I was doing research, for example, for this episode, there's like really nothing that you can find. Like you've never been the type of person to put yourself out there in that manner and invite reporters to like ask you questions in a way that a lot of people within the industry do, because it's a form of marketing, right?
True. For myself, wow, that's a lot to answer to.
I know.
Give me a second.
It's okay. We got processing time.
Yeah, thank you.
No
I need
worries.
to process all those questions.
Yeah.
Can you just ask me that first question again?
We can go one by one.
Yeah,
now.
let's go one by one,
Okay,
please. Thanks.
so what's your philosophy about privacy as a person who works in the public?
Actually, I don't really juggle my privacy so much also lah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean like I would I do my postings like normal with my wife, with my kids. In fact, I enjoy posting photos of me with my wife and kids. It's just that sometimes my wife, like maybe she doesn't really want to show so much about herself and stuff. Yeah. So it's not really me like wanting to have like a private life.
it almost like happened.
Yeah, it
that way,
just came naturally as well. Of like,
organically.
after marriage and then having kids, of wanting to share that lah, Yeah.
Yeah. I think more so what I meant is that like for a lot of in entertainment, you have to be the one that's like actively putting yourself out there. So
Okay.
it's not really like, we don't really have paparazzi culture or anything where
Yeah.
people are going to come to your house and like be like, oh, what is he doing on a Friday afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really have that. But it's more so the fact that, a lot of entertainers, especially when you're trying to like put your name out there and grow your career, would actively participate in these like media functions. You go to these events, you want to be seen by people, and you haven't really ever been the type of person to like seriously do that. Or did I miss that?
Like
part
what,
of-
going for...
Yeah, going for events and like doing the interviews and all of this stuff.
Okay, I actually love going for events lah. I love going for events. In fact, I used to go for a lot of events back then as well. And yeah, I mean like any interviews and stuff would always be good for me, right? I would need that exposure. I guess through those interviews and stuff is where people will get to know me more. So I was actually quite actively involved in going for events as well back then lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So after that, you came out with another single, Para.
Para.
Yeah. It's a more intense song.
It's a different genre that Faithful wanted to try for me lah.
Yeah. And were there any differences in terms of like the making and execution aspects of it?
So the song is done by Faisal, Mike and Ezra. And I guess like from 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎𝙀, like a love song, like an entry song for myself in the industry, right? So we wanted to try and do something different. Like I think I was like, the song was released 1 or 2 years later, I can't remember. So we just wanted to try...
2017 it came out.
Yeah, and 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎 2016.
Yes.
Yeah, so we just wanted to try a different genre lah. I just wanted to try a different genre. So that's how Para came along lah. Yeah.
Was there anyone like that you preferred to the other, or
Sorry?
did you prefer either one? Or?
I think like 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎 would always be my baby lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then even Para is a song that I really had to train very hard for as well. Yeah.
I see. I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes. Like, how involved were you, especially when you're working with such a massive...
I mean, like
well-developed team?
recording 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎 and Para, like, yeah, I mean, up in and out the studio lah. Like, I think like 2 months. It took about 2 months as well. Yeah, in and out, in and out, in and out.
And
but
was
that's
there-
part and parcel of like recording songs as well, right?
I mean, that's how it works, right? Was there like vocal training and everything as well? or?
Yeah, there was lah. I think Faisal was training me here and there a bit. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, after that, you did some more acting. You had some more singles that came out. You did another TV show, Dancer and Sing.
Oh yeah, that was my biggest nightmare.
Why was that your biggest nightmare?
So
Okay, what?
I cannot dance. I cannot dance. I hate to dance. And I think that was when I left Warner and Faithful already.
Yeah.
And I was with a different label. And I remember my ex-manager telling me that you have to join this. You know, if you don't join it, then Astro won't give you jobs. But I was telling myself, like, I really don't want to join this. I really don't want to join this. Yeah. And then it was like a bad move for me. I think that was my worst move lah. Joining that competition, yeah. That was my worst move.
Really?
Yeah.
In terms of like how it made you feel?
Yeah, personally. It affected me quite bad.
Why?
I mean, it was just so difficult to... singing singing competitions, you have to focus on the camera, then you have to focus on the judges, interaction with the audience. And then this one, you got dancing some more.
Yeah.
With people. And then, yeah, it was just my worst experience lah.
A lot of energy.
And that was something that like really scarred me for some time.
Really? From a
Yeah.
dancing show?
Yeah.
Scarred
It
you?
was something that really scarred me and impacted and had very bad impact on me lah.
Why?
Yeah, it was just so difficult for me to be on that show, and it was just not comfortable for me at all. Yeah,
Do you tend to be
that
like...
particular show lah.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the thing that kind of like made you feel the most uncomfortable? Was it like fear of how you would be perceived?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I
It
see.
was not easy. Like, it was not easy. It's not easy singing and dancing. And then like we don't have enough time as well. Like the show, like it's the show is one day. Then every day you would be practicing your dance, your singing, and I'm just not into dancing at all. Yeah, I should have just followed my guts and not joined the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with the entertainment industry. And actually, a lot of careers have this kind of like always you've got this crossroads, right?
Yeah, in
Where
fact,
it's like-
after that show, I wanted to speak up to my ex-manager and actually tell him about it, but I didn't. I kept it in lah. Yeah, it was that bad.
Really? You must be quite a perfectionist, huh?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I guess so lah. when it comes to work lah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's something that's like weighing on you so heavily that it leaves you with like a scar for a while.
Took me some time to get over that
experience.
Yeah, that experience.
Yeah. I mean, the timing of it, because like shortly after this, you said that you were gonna take a step back from the entertainment industry as well. But obviously, that's also because COVID was happening around that time, right?
Yeah, correct. True.
So how did that feel? Because that must have been really challenging.
Yeah,
for you as
so
well.
after that competition, right, was when I wanted to take a step back through lah. And then COVID came along the way, and actually during COVID was when, like I shared with you just now, right, was when I started getting new opportunities, like new jobs where I knew I could try and make a comeback slowly.
Yeah.
But then really it was COVID lah. It was not easy, and I remember that last day I was in KL, I had to like fly back. I had to make the decision of either staying in KL to do those jobs or fly back to Sabah. And of course, I had to fly back to Sabah lah, to be with my wife and kids, right? Yeah, so I was stuck there as well. So another phase of challenge came after I flew back to Sabah. Like I was stuck there, I couldn't fly back to Singapore. And then when the flights opened, I flew back to Singapore. I was stuck in Singapore for 11 months. Yeah, 11 months of not seeing my wife and kids.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but that 11 months was really really good for me. So that's when I started getting dramas on Surya, like back-to-back dramas, like lead roles, supporting roles. I did a lot of TVCs in Singapore. So that 11 months was like the best 11 months in Singapore lah.
Yeah, like a hyper-productive 11 months, sounds
Super
like.
productive, yeah.
Yeah. And does it bring you fulfillment?
Yeah, it did, of course.
Yeah, the acting and stuff like that. Because it's interesting because you, I guess like from my perspective, maybe I can get your clarity on this as well. It must have felt like the commitment throughout the earlier years, because you're handling not just the acting but also the singing. You must have felt very like split apart in terms of your like time. And so
actually since COVID, I have not been singing lah.
Yeah,
I've not been singing. When I was back in Sabah also, it was just with my family and my work there. And only when I went back to Singapore is when I started that acting and TVCs again. But I didn't really go back into singing as well, like since COVID.
Why is that?
I mean, I guess I didn't receive the opportunities to sing in Singapore. And I was receiving shows lah to perform, but I told myself like, I'm not relevant because I've no new singles and stuff, so it wouldn't make sense for me to want to sing old songs that, Actually, even till now, I do receive like shows, but I just don't find myself relevant to want to sing.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
The fact that people are inviting you to sing means you're relevant though.
Yeah, but I mean like no lah, I didn't really see the point lah. Like I think even 𝙁𝙃𝙄𝙎 is also so long ago, Para is so long ago. Unless if I got new music, then it would make sense to want to promote that new music, that new song,
Yeah. But I guess it's a question of like, if you enjoy it, right? Then you're relevant as long as people ask you to perform.
Yeah. I think after a while, I got a bit lazy lah. Yeah.
No, I totally understand. I guess it depends on like what stage of your life you're in as well, right?
As much as I would want to, but then that lazy factor would come in as well lah.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. You also said that around the MCO kind of time frame is where you decided that you were going to go into events.
Yeah, that's where all the fun starts lah.
That's where all the fun starts. Yeah. That's where like your energy really starts to pick up in this conversation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you definitely have a lot of passion surrounding this topic. Where did this passion come from? Like the event organizing stuff?
So since COVID, when I was back in Sabah, I think I saw the opportunity to do like events and concerts in 𝘾𝙀, because it was lacking in Sabah. Like, staying in Sabah and being from Singapore, and for someone who used to be based in KL, right, I would be part of a lot of events and shows and stuff. So I saw this lacking in Sabah, and I told myself like, this is something that I want to get into, even though I had no experience. So I went with the flow and I tried to do something different. And even like my first event that I did at Raya Expo, right, it took about a year to plan as well, and it turned out really, really well. It was a huge success, and it's not something that I had experience in as well. It was just like every single day I would be learning something new lah. So yeah, I saw the opportunity to do it, and I went with it. And then I realized that I really love doing events. Like it's tiring, but it's really, really fun.
Like, what is it about events that are really, really fun? Because I feel like the organizer never has the fun, right? It's always the people who are coming who have the fun, and the organizer is stressed out.
Yeah. It was stressful, but having to just like doing something different and being able to execute it well, and then you feel that sense of satisfaction.
Like kepuasan.
Yeah, and then that's when the passion. That's when I realized that actually I really enjoy doing events lah. So that's when I started, and it really kicked off from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very ambitious, because I feel like for most people who start events, right, you would think that people would start with something like, like bite-sized, right? Let me just do like a one-day event for like maybe like 150 packs, and then like we'll just call it a day, and like, okay, see if I like it or not.
So I was super ambitious lah.
Yeah, that's insane. Because what?
That first event last year was
It's like 72 hours non-stop.
13 days.
I'm so sorry, what?
So Borneo Maker IFS 2023 is 13 days long. That 72 hours was during that last weekend.
Oh,
where
that's
I tried to do that 72 hours non-stop in Sabah, but it doesn't work there. It works in KL.
Sabahans, they need their beauty sleep.
After 2 a.m, you don't see anyone coming in. So this year, the 2024, I didn't do that 72 hours lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 13 days plus that 72 hours. And I had to sleep at the venue. My wife and kids were there as well.
Oh my gosh, but that's so supportive, right?
Yeah, but it was very fun lah. It was so fun lah.
Yeah.
I think it was so fun for me and my wife. Because it was just me, my wife Jiha, and my friend Shala, who is still with us now. Yeah, in every event and concert, he's still with us. So it was just the three of us handling everything, and he would handle it from KL, and I would be the one doing it in Sabah.
So he's handling a Sabahan event remotely from Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, so he was in charge of all the shipping, sea freight, sourcing the vendors and brands from KL to Sabah. Yeah, so he was doing that alone. Sorry.
Massive scale of things that you need to figure out.
Yeah, but I'm so thankful that it went really well lah. So I guess it was a new visual for Sabahans to see a Raya Expo like that, and to have a lot of new brands that were not available in Sabah before, and a lot of celebrities that really made the event a huge success as well lah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Can I ask a question that maybe might be like a little bit personal and sensitive?
Okay.
Like financially, right? If you want to start an event, as the event company, if I'm not mistaken, you kind of have to figure out that aspect of it, right? I feel like a 13-day event sounds like the biggest like investment on the planet.
Yeah.
How did you pull this all together? Was it a combination of looking for sponsors?
So yeah, I mean, I used to do other work back in Sabah, right? So I rolled the money from there lah. Yeah.
What,
so like I think,
what were you doing in the time being?
I did a bit of I did some small contracts and projects back in Sabah. Yeah. So I think doing events is of course your venue fee. Your setup fee, like, all the booths and all that, right? So yeah, just the initial deposit, and then once the vendors start paying, you roll back from there lah. Yeah, and I had a lot of sponsors last year that really helped as well lah.
Yeah, in order to like make the whole thing commercially viable and successful, and also profit turning, essentially, right?
Yep.
And then you decided to also then do Borneo Mega Raya Fest. Is that not the same thing?
Yeah, so
sorry,
Borneo
I'm like reading
Mega
this
Raya Fest
twice.
2023 is my first event lah.
Yeah, and your second one, sorry, Mari Makan Minum.
Yeah, Mari Makan Minum.
Which was also kind of like a bigger size.
So Mari Makan Minum is an outdoor event, and it's all about food and drink. So I think I was the first organizer to be able to convince SICC to have an outdoor event with people being able to cook with the tongas. So they never allowed it before lah. So I tried to convince the director of SICC, and she said okay, and then we did it, and it was so fun because it was new for Sabahans as well to see an event outside SICC with like people cooking and pouring and this and that. Before that event, it would be like just selling packed food and stuff, so it would be a bit boring. But with this, you can eat your nasi goreng, you can make your burger and stuff. Then I prepared a lot of seating area as well, and a huge marquee tent, so the event could still run even when it was raining lah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that was fun, and so that was a 3 or 4 day event. Yeah.
During this entire process, did you ever miss like being in the spotlight for any reason?
I guess I didn't really think. You mean like back to acting and singing?
Yeah.
It didn't really cross my mind, to be honest, but I remember when I did my Borneo Mega Fest 23 and Mari Makan Minum, that was when I got 2 roles. It was a lead role, and I actually landed the role. I was surprised to land that lead role, but I tried. I told the person who casted me for it. She asked if she could submit my name, so I just tried my luck. I said, okay you can submit my name, hoping to not get the role because I know
not get the role.
because hoping to not get the role because I know I wouldn't be able to shoot. Because if I shoot for 2 months,
Uh-huh.
then there's no one who can,
Handle the event.
handle the events,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
So I was surprised that I got the message and that I landed the role. And then I had to think of an excuse saying that, oh, sorry, I can't make it because of this and that and this and that.
My
so a bit
gosh.
busted lah. But then I wanted to see if I could land the role lah. So I was hoping that I didn't get it, but I did get the role. So I was quite surprised that they were still calling me for lead roles. Yeah, so back to that question about the spotlight and all that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to focus on my events and in Sabah first. I didn't want to be like greedy and do the events and then go to KL, shoot and this and that. Then everything would just fumble.
Yeah, because you can't
Right.
cut corners with things, right?
Yeah. So like I have the mindset of wanting to focus on one thing, let it be a success, and then try to do other things lah.
Yeah.
Whatever else that comes.
I mean, fair enough.
Mm.
And then after 2 major events being successful, you decide to pivot and go into like
Concerts. Yeah.
which is also an event, yes, but like a whole other ball game.
Correct.
And your first 2 concerts that happened in Sabah were Indonesian artists.
Correct.
How did that opportunity come about? Did you just like wake up and you're like, okay, you know what? Listen, like I'm gonna reach out to these artists myself and make sure they make it here, lah.
So the person who introduced this concerts to me is a friend. So we were supposed to do a concert in Sabah together, Indonesian band. So I did all the back end work and stuff already. And then he was busy. He didn't get back to me. Then I told myself, like, since I did all the back end work already, might as well I just do it on my own. So I reached out to Armada myself, Armada band.
Well, you just DM them?
I think I got the manager's contact number from Instagram. So we spoke on WhatsApp and stuff. And then I met him in Jakarta as well. And then I decided, okay, let's do this first concert in Sabah lah.
Yeah.
And I think Armada is very influential. Their songs are very influential in Sabah as well. And so thankful that Armada really the concert really turned out to be a huge success. And then while planning for Armada, I also decided to lock my second concert, which is 𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙎. So I was able to execute those 2 concerts in a month lah. It was crazy, but it was so fun.
That must have been such a tight timeline.
Not really. It's just the planning of releasing the content
Yeah.
and the ticket sales. So just proper planning lah for that. Yeah. But other than that, like for concerts, you don't really need to do much because the setup is only like 2 days before the concert. So a lot of the work is just from your phone lah.
And do you find that the marketing and the kind of like promotional aspects of it are easier because the artist is big and therefore the concert kind of sells itself a little bit? Not really?
Not really. I guess for Sabah, right, before I did those 2 concerts, there were concerts in Sabah as well, but I think smaller scale. And doing this really big scale concert at SICC. So SICC was not available before, was not operational before COVID. So there were not much venues in Sabah for people to actually do concerts. And then SICC officially opened, and it's the only venue that is really, I think I would say it's the best venue in Sabah lah for events and concerts. So it took a lot of I had to really market this really, really well on social media, and a lot of Sabahans are not on social media as well. I had to reach out to radio stations, I had to do billboards, and 1 minute. Sorry. Back to your question again.
No, I was listening.
No, I just wanted to go back to your question. Wait,
Oh,
what was the question again?
was it easier to market a thing because it kind of sells itself because it's a big
No,
artist?
not really. I guess a lot of people, they don't really know about the concerts if they're not on social media, if they don't see the visuals, right? And Sabahans, I guess, a lot of them, I guess only like my age group would be on social media.
Right.
So a lot of cost was taken out to do the marketing of this concert. Yeah, and then eventually people picked it up, and then it turned out really well lah.
And then you kind of just decided after 2 successful concerts, you're like, yeah, I'm going to now pull in artists from the West.
No. So like after those 2 concerts, I did plan for other concerts in Sabah as well. But I think at that point of time, after those 2 concerts, Sabah was packed with concerts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was packed with concerts, and it wasn't easy to plan to do a concert because there were just too many happening.
Right.
And then I took a break from concerts in KK, And then I focused on the fifth event, which is this Borneo Megarai Fest 24 lah.
Yeah.
So the date I started my first event last year is the same date I finished the fifth event. And then I told myself, like, as a Singaporean who used to be based in KL, I think the next step, I really wanted to expand to Singapore and KL. And I met my my partner, Mr. Pavan here, right? And then we just decided, okay, let's focus so when things slowed down in the concert scene in KK, I told myself, okay, let's focus in Singapore and KL. And then Singapore and KL, of course, is a bigger market, and already so many promoters doing Malaysian singers, Indonesian singers. So we wanted to step out from that, and we told ourselves, like, okay, let's focus on the acts from US and UK instead, since there are more artists, right? So we didn't want to go into we didn't want to have to compete with other promoters who are already doing like Malaysian, Indonesian artists. So that's when I decided to focus on the US, UK acts instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why Akon specifically?
Why? Okay, so when I got in touch with my booking agent like last year, December, we were offered a few artists, and then I told myself, like, Akon was in the list lah. Then for Singapore and Malaysia, I think Akon is just he's a really impactful singer, and sorry. Yeah, so I just feel like Akon would do well in Singapore and Malaysia comparing to the other artists that my booking agent offered us lah. I mean, everywhere you go now, his songs are still playing everywhere, right? Like, I still hear his songs now, and yeah, we decided to go with Akon lah. And I also personally love Akon. Grew up listening to his music, and I really wanted to bring back that nostalgic moment. It's very. I think Akon is really unique for the 90s kid like myself. Yeah. So that's why I chose and decided to go with Akon.
What are the like unique challenges that you'd face along the way of trying to book a Western artist versus an artist who's closer, I mean, not just logistically, but like also time-wise and accessibility-wise in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, so previously working with Indonesian bands, I mean, the timing is the same, right?
Yeah.
But with this American artist, when we sleep, they are awake.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Yeah. And then it was not easy locking Akon. It actually took me about 8 months. 8 months back and forth with my booking agent and the management, back and forth. So it was supposed to be in October, then got pushed to November, then back to October, and then November. So just finalizing the dates and the venue itself took about 3 months.
I bet.
Yeah, so when the date is not aligned with another country, then we would have to change the dates. And then when you go to the venue, they're not available. You have to source other venues. So this was the main challenge I faced lah.
But you managed to pull it off, obviously.
Yeah. Like after 3 months, we finally got the right venue, finally got the right date that aligned with the other countries as well. Yeah.
So, what are you like most nervous about? I guess with this coming up, and now you're also in a new market, which is going to be difficult in the sense that you've got 2 shows back to back, one day after another, and that's a lot of management and on ground and.
Correct. So Akon, he's going to be on a very big Asia tour. He just finished his North America and Europe tour, right?
Yeah.
So next is Asia. He's going to India, China, Nepal, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, and we're the only promoters bringing him to 2 countries. So I think
that's double the responsibility lah, I guess.
Yeah. But we wanted to try this, and I guess doing the concerts is the same as it's basically the same like the same like what I did for the Indonesian artists. It's just that it's a bigger cost, and other than that, more marketing. But plus minus, it's the same as well, yeah.
Is it like the same template essentially, and you can copy paste, but just like tune it a little bit for each artist?
Yeah, I guess there's that template that I'm still following. That is the plus minus. It's really the same, actually.
Yeah. But I would say, I would think, right, that there is a difference between like a concert kind of management style and also a festival kind of thing, which you've done before as well.
I've not done a festival though.
Not festival. Then what would you call it? The carnival, is it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the 13 days.
Uh-huh.
What would you call that then?
The Raya Expo.
The expo. There we go.
The difference between the Raya Expo event and the concert.
Yeah, which do you kind of prefer in terms of like?
I prefer doing concerts because the setting up of the concert is only a few days before the concert, and then everything else is just through your phone, so it's so much easier.
Right.
Yeah, but during the event, like 13 days, we would be there 13 days. I would be there 13 days, like from 12 noon to 12 midnight every single day.
Oh,
So like
bet.
doing concerts, I guess, is more fun lah.
Yeah, and also it's
Yeah,
less
the planning
of a...
is easier as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would assume so. So you've got 𝙂𝙃 coming now. And I know that you guys work way, way, way in advance, right? So it's like eight months of discussing just to get 𝙂𝙃 to
January this year, actually.
Who's next on the list?
So for next year, of course, like we want to, explore stand-up comedians. We want to tap on K-pop as well.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
Yeah. So it's not just like singers. But for next year, we do have plans as well. But we are in the midst of still finalizing with the management and stuff. But, doing events and concerts is not a one-time thing. You really have to plan long-term. So that's what me and my team are doing as well for next year and even early 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to say any names yet lah, since we have not finalized anything.
Yeah,
as well.
Choi lah. Don't want to jinx it, right?
Yeah.
But okay, concerts are really like picking up. Like 2024 has been the year of concerts for Malaysia at least. I'm not sure Singapore how, but I would assume very similar because they will do both their stops, right, on the tour.
Yeah.
How is competition a non-issue for you though, when it could very easily, similarly to what happened in Sabah, become like an overpopulated concert situation where there's like way too much going on,
Yeah.
especially in like a capital city.
So I think, like I mentioned earlier, that's the reason why we didn't want to step into like to doing like Indonesian artists or Malaysian artists. Not saying that it's bad or what, but there are a lot of promoters in Singapore, Malaysia that are already focusing on Malaysian, Indonesian artists, and I think most of the Indonesian, Malaysian artists have already come to Singapore and Malaysia. So if we were to call Indonesian or Malaysian artists again, I think they would be comfortable working with those promoters that they have worked with before.
Fair.
So when we talk about competition, then I think the safe thing to do is, of course, to bring in artists that other promoters have not brought in.
Yeah.
So
fair.
of course the US, the UK market, there are so many more artists, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's easier to focus on that market first.
But your capex is also significantly higher lah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Just roughly lah, without like outing any numbers that are like too sensitive. How much would you have to pay to like book 𝙂𝙃 to perform? You don't have to answer exactly, but like we don't have to talk about 𝙂𝙃. Okay, we can talk about an alternative. How many figures are we talking?
6 digits lah.
6 digits.
Yeah, and
in
working with
Malaysian currency or
no,
USD?
everything is in USD lah.
6
Yeah.
6 digits of USD currency.
7 digit
Malaysian
for
currency.
ringgit lah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the big jump from doing the Indonesian bands to the US artists lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge jump. And I
Yeah.
would also assume that it comes with exponentially a lot of risks. Contoh not that I'm Choi lah, hope this doesn't happen to you guys. But let's say his flight delays or something.
My
Then-
God.
No,
Oh my God. Please.
no, I know lah, but I'm just saying like what, as an event company, what Choi.
Touch wood.
But like, is the onus then entirely on you to kind of like crisis manage that situation?
So you see, like doing concerts is definitely a gamble lah, But yeah, I mean, I can't. It's so difficult to answer this question. Like the experience I've had so far, so good, and I hope nothing bad happens,
Of
for
course.
this upcoming concert. But yeah, I've not experienced that before, so it's difficult for me to answer as well. But
Let's hope you
I
never
just
do.
Hope, I just hope that everything goes as planned lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's the ideal situation, and I hope that like they continue to moving forward. But it feels like it's a big, very like
Yeah, I
risky
think that's
kind
a
of
scary
scary
part lah. Yeah.
thing
Don't
to
suddenly
do.
the artist falls sick or something like that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. But
Which is
we'll
not
see.
happening. Which is not gonna happen.
Yeah,
so
just
it's
hope
fine.
everything goes well lah.
Yeah,
for
it
us,
will be very smooth. Especially, I would assume that if the artist is on a tour, that provides you with some security because like there's so many other countries and stakeholders involved in the
Yeah, but of course,
conversation as
you
well.
have contracts and agreements and
Yeah.
stuff. So eventually, everything will still be covered lah. If anything bad happens, yeah,
Yeah, that's good to know. So next year, more concerts for you.
definitely, yeah.
Would you ever like having kind of like stepped away from entertainment at this point and like focus more on something that you definitely, it's like very obvious that you are more excited about the event management stuff,
Yeah.
at least at this stage of your life. Is there any situation where you would maybe like go back to singing, acting, release a song, maybe your concert next, and then your own company can, arrange it?
I mean, the doors are not closed, but of course, if I do receive an opportunity like to go back into acting or singing, and if it can have like good and positive impact on me and my company, then I would lah. If it can help my company to grow, to get more supporters, supporting the events and the concerts, then why not? Yeah.
So even that, it would be like a return in front of the camera, essentially for the benefit of your company, versus you kind of like pursuing that in your own personal career capacity.
But like having done acting and singing before and now doing events and concerts, it has really helped lah. It really helps, and it really helps to push my events and concerts as well. Like you see, the people that I'm working with that are doing my marketing are my ex-managers that are on board, and they put in a word to the radio partners and they are supporting the concert as well. So it helped that I still have those contacts. So I believe if I go back to acting and singing, and if I get to grow that fan base and more contacts within the industry, I believe it will also help the events and concerts that I wish to do in the future.
Fair.
Yeah, so that would be one of the reasons for me to want to go back to acting and singing, for it to have positive impact on future events and concerts lah. Yeah.
And I feel like, is that also partially why your expansion plans into Singapore and Malaysia have been like relatively fast, because you have such a stronghold in both countries in terms of contacts and networking?
I wouldn't say I have such strong connections, but they've been really
because
effective lah.
Yeah. I mean, like, at least in Malaysia, you've worked with the major stations and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm really thankful to have all the radio partners on board lah for this. Yeah.
That's awesome. What's the end goal for you? Like, where do you see the company, like, in 5 years, yourself in 5 years?
Me in 5 years? My company in 5 years, I would really want my company to go, like, to be known globally lah. Of course, that is the ultimate dream of, doing, having an events and concerts, like events company. I would want my company to be able to secure big artists that, eventually when other artists from US or UK want to come to Singapore, Malaysia, that they would trust my company. So, yeah, that's the end goal for my company lah, like doing events, concerts, stand-up comedians and stuff, yeah. Yeah. For my company. For myself, I guess, I hope like in 5 years from now, I'm still doing this, or I mean, I can't really say what I'll do in 5 years, but I just hope that everything goes well for me in 5 years from now.
And you're like probably still following the flow.
Yeah, still point. Like doing, like exploring new things and being with my family, and just I can't really plan what's going to come up for me in 5 years, but I just hope everything goes well lah. Yeah.
I mean, hoping everything ends up well is also a plan in and of itself.
Yeah, new business opportunities and stuff lah.
Yeah. Any specific sectors, or go with the flow lah?
With the flow lah. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Why not?
Yeah.
Before we end, we have some rapid fire questions for you to go with the flow on. Are you ready?
Ready.
Favorite dessert?
Favorite dessert? Chocolate cake.
Okay.
Anything chocolate lah, basically.
Solid. Dream character that you would have always wanted to play but never got the opportunity to, or haven't yet. We rephrase.
Like gangster.
Gangster.
Yeah. Like I really like watching 𝘾𝙍𝙄𝙎 and how they executed their roles. I think it's just fun lah, that you get to really be aggressive on set and stuff.
I mean, there's no such thing as too late,
Yeah.
If it ever came around, would you do it?
I guess I would.
You won't FFK the production company?
No lah.
Yeah, okay. Can. All right, next one. Where would you like to retire if you could choose anywhere in the world?
Oh, definitely Sabah.
Yeah.
I love Sabah.
It's a beautiful place, huh?
It is.
Best concert venue that you want to go to in your personal capacity?
National Stadium, Singapore and Malaysia. I mean, if you're doing concerts, then that's where you want to end up lah. With that amount of capacity.
I meant like if you're going to go and watch a concert. Those are still your answers.
Sorry?
Those are still good answers. Quite safe.
Where I would want to watch a concert?
Yes.
Yeah, of course, National Stadium. That experience of being in the National Stadium with that many people.
Concert? Yeah, fair. Last one. What's
where
your
would
favorite?
You go then?
The Sphere, Las Vegas. What do you mean?
Okay.
I mean, love you, Malaysia.
Okay,
it's not,
like
I'm
anywhere
not,
in the world?
I'm just saying.
Anywhere in the world?
Yeah lah.
Then definitely the Sphere lah. That's Sphere.
You just stole my answer.
Okay. I didn't hear that part, sorry.
He's at National Stadium, Singapore. Singapore, no
course the
disrespect,
Sphere,
right?
yeah.
But like the Sphere got like 360, all that, you
That's
know,
really
like
cool, lah.
right? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Yeah, maybe one day a concert there that you arrange, right? Why
You
not?
never know.
Final one. What's your favorite joke?
My favorite joke. My favorite joke.
Ayo,
I need to think of a joke.
your dad. Come on now.
Dad, I have
It's like
one
they're called
lah.
dad jokes for a reason.
Yeah,
Dads
yeah,
are
but-
supposed to have this like innate, like, was it not like programmed into the factory settings as soon as you had
No.
kids? No.
No.
Damn it. I got one for you though.
Okay.
I got actually a few. What is the cheapest concert in history?
The cheapest concert in history.
50 Cent. What is the cheapest concert
one.
in history that only cost 45 cents?
What?
50 Cent featuring Nickelback.
Not bad. Where are we getting all these jokes from?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good one.
That was to give you inspiration to see if you could like come up
Yeah.
with something.
I'll go Google jokes after this lah.
It would be too late. The show will be over.
Yeah. There's one that I recently sent to my friend,
Yeah.
but that's not a dad joke lah. It's just funny because
Is it funny?
I think it is. So I couldn't stop thinking about you in the AM and the PM, so I decided to slide into your DM. So that was for my friend to go and send it to this girl that he wants to go out with lah.
That is a pickup line.
Yeah, but it's still a joke, what?
Yeah. This is a completely different genre.
Yeah,
okay?
I know.
But I'll let you
Which is
get
why I
away
didn't want to
with
say it. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah,
share
okay,
it lah.
fair. All right. So anyways, thank you so much, Peluang
Thank
Kemas
you,
bersama
Amelia.
kami. Before we end, is there anything that you want to say to your supporters out there?
Yeah. So just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has supported me since day one and who continue to those who are still supporting me. Keep a lookout for 𝙀𝙧 Sentiment and for my upcoming events and concerts lah.
Yeah, I hope it goes really well.
Thank you.
May everything be eased and smooth for you.
Thank you. Hope to see you
Yeah.
there as well.
Yeah, I would love
For
to,
the
would love
concert.
to.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys sebab saksikan episod kita macam biasa. Kita akan jumpa minggu depan pukul time yang sama lah dengan tempat yang sama juga. See you guys next week. Bye.